deeper states of meditation takes you to the diamond of mind, where you can keep on mining the diamonds, beautiful gems of our existence keep coming out from this mind which is vast, infinite. The existence. When we reflect back onto what we have left, we realize the fallacies of a human mind, the follies of the human mind, the mistakes of a human mind. One of the mistakes that has gripped the human society is the emotions. Emotions are attachment to a chosen object or a person or a situation. Liking and disliking are a part of samsara. Again, creations of a human mind. Mind likes to divide. Without divisions, mind cannot exist. So it's a nature of the mind to divide. Divisions means you choosing one over the other. At the mind level, these choices do exist. So, mind even cannot think of anything else other than itself. So the whole world lives in likes and dislikes because there are two choices at the mind level. Liking, when it becomes intense, it becomes emotions. Without the object where the emotions were going, if that object or a person or a situation changes, disappears, tremendous loss takes place. And then follows the sufferings. These are the mistakes of mind, which likes to divide, win, conquer, and emotional attachments are called sometimes love. That's a humanly love, where the choices exist. That's not love at all. It is basically an extension or intensification of your ego. It's one more way of attaching yourself to the samsara. Emotions are blindness. You are attaching something in the blindness and you think it's a diamond. Once the light comes on, you realize it was a stone. So on the individualized relationship where we divide people, we like some people, we don't like some people. We like some animals, we don't like some other animals. We spend our entire life sometimes with intensified energy towards one person, one object, one animal, one situation. And because of that, our flow remains restricted to those situations or people. And we never see the divine love. The divinity is what you experience in meditation. The universality of existence, where everything exists within this universal consciousness. There are no differentiation. If the consciousness wants to choose, what would it choose? Because everything is nothing but consciousness. After experiencing the infiniteness of the consciousness, you realize that choosing anything over the other is stepping down from your infinite nature. Then you become finite again. So the true nature of ours is the universal existence, universal consciousness. But we waste our time on emotions. The love that is so-called love is flimsy, is born out of ignorance, where you attach yourself to one person. Most of the times we do that for our personal needs. We need attention. We need someone to love us back. So traditional love becomes a business. Most of the time, this love flows for a selected person. So all the other ones remain out of your field of love. That's a human nature. Likes and dislikes are part of your ego. But that love is different than the love of consciousness. Everything belongs to consciousness. Everything is merged in consciousness. So for consciousness, there is nothing but love for everyone, because you cannot choose. If you have to choose your right hand over the left hand, that's foolishness. So experiencing the universal consciousness, universal love also comes along with it. And this love is not directed against any particular person, because every single person, every single animal has fallen within your consciousness. Last night I was driving. I made a turn on one of the beautiful streets that I always pass by, covered with trees and small patch of forest. And suddenly I saw a fox. Normally foxes run very fast, but this one was not really running fast. That made me curious. It looked at me. The light of my car was being reflected from its eyes. Eyes were glowing like diamonds. And then little by little it ran away. I saw its left front leg was damaged. It was not putting onto the ground. My heart felt with compassion. How much suffering in this world is. But despite its limitations, it is making a living. It's going for hunting, looking for food. compassion becomes the nature, and that has to flow for everything. Even a tiny creature should not be left out of your compassion. Humans are not the only animals that can be loved. Love can flow to every single entity that exists in the consciousness. And it is a flow. There is no return for it. The sun shines. Sun probably does not even know that there is something called earth and there is something called humans. There is something called animals. And yet everything exists in its glory. The heat, the energy that just radiates from the sun. To call it a giving is also creation of the human mind. The giving is a word given by the recipients. Once you receive, the other entity becomes giver. So when you say the sun is giving, it's a wrong sentence. Sun just exists in its own glory. The same way, if we become steady in our Atma, the universal consciousness, the steadiness, and just be, and any idea of receiving anything from samsara drops, if our desires drop, the giving happens, but you would not call it giving. It's just your nature. And then whoever is deficient in whatever, they will call it that you are giving, but you are not. The love becomes your nature. One who is suffering will feel that he or she has received love from you. So that is the ultimate love. At the infinite level, the human love disappears. Human emotions disappear, but it is replaced by the love and the emotions of universal consciousness, in which these are built in. There is no other way. The consciousness has no way to hate anyone, because everything is part of it. Even to give a concept of God to this universal consciousness is a human concept, because humans don't know anything else. We are finite only because we don't realize what we are. So out of limited mind, the divided mind, the mind full of duality, we create the concept of God and then separate ourselves from the God. So the universal consciousness we call God. And then that way we are the one who are suffering, because we never consider ourselves God. So by creating a concept of God, we become separate than God. Again, the duality controls our minds, ideas, thoughts, beliefs, and the whole world is gripped with this duality. Everybody is running towards God because they are humans, they are inferior, and they have to become superior. Multiple lives go on, and God is never found, because the search is wrong. Search is to go to the source where duality disappears and only single unity remains. At that level, you are not humans anymore. Animals are not animals anymore. Everything is just one. Once you reach that, you have reached the universal consciousness. To call it a God or not, that's a sign of still a long travel to make till the state of infinite consciousness. If you want to call it a God, you can, but there is a big risk in doing that because the duality will still persist within you. That's why Buddha removed the concept of God. Mahavir removed the concept of God. He just said Atma. And Buddha went even beyond that. He said there is nothing there. The reason he said there is nothing there, because once people hear about God and Atma and all that, people will be looking for it. Again, a trap of duality. It's not, the spiritual journey is not looking for something. It's turning yourself around to look inside and go to these infinite depths and reach to a zone where everything disappears and only one entity remains that explains everything. The universes, galaxies, stars and the moons, all the humans and every single life that we call life comes under you and all becomes part of you. In the great glory of that existence, by naming it, you're spoiling it. To call it anything is a disrespect. It's only the existence that you enjoy. The words have to be given, but you don't have to believe the words because your experience is everything. So come out of the emotions. Emotions are nothing but intensifications and a beautification of your ego. When you like something, it's glorified. To love someone is glorified in this human world. But we don't realize that love between brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers, and husbands and wives, and etc., we make it the ultimate goal of life. But in doing that, we miss out the divinity. The love of divinity is built into it, which is its nature. So to mention a universal love is also a fallacy. The nature is that's all that matters. Shining is all that matters for the sun. What happens to others is not of its concern. So spirituality is all about finding your true self and the ultimate peace of infinite consciousness. And emotions do not let us do that. So transcend the mind, understand the mistakes made by our own mind, realize the finiteness of the so-called emotions, and find the infinite joy of existence and the love, which is the love that flows as a nature rather than love for others. Because then also you're talking about duality. Again, this state is to experience, never to describe. Description can never be enough. That's why meditation is important, to go deep and experience this state.